Alright, so I know it's been a long time, but welcome back to the part 3 of the BoneShatter Juggernaut series. This will be the final episode, and more so this is kind of serves as a benchmark for next league of what to expect and what concepts we learned from this. So, I did post a video just a couple of days ago in regards to a trauma stacking BoneShatter setup, which is very expensive with Stasis Prism. And Stasis Prison, although it's really awesome, it's definitely very expensive and on the budget side. And so for this, again, this is meant to be on the budget side, and it has been all the way through. Our upgrades were very minimal in terms of economic impact, but they were very, very fruitful in terms of what they yielded us. There'll be a couple skips throughout the video just because my recording settings were not the best when recording this, so now I should have it figured out for next time. But basically, even from the skips and such, the build performed fine. It was completely able to T16 map, which was fantastic, and it was very, very comfortable to do so. But what about the endgame bosses? Because part of the goal was to finish all 4 Void Stones. And that's something we did not do. As you can see, I'm playing this on standard, and this was essentially going in and trying some of the content. What content am I talking about? The 2 Eldritch bosses, the Styrian Exarch and the Eater of Worlds. Those went completely fine. Very, very easy. The problems came when Maven came along, as well as Uber Elder. Those 2 were definitely a lot more difficult, which they should be, and that was something to be expected. However, I thought the build would be able to handle them. What I quickly learned, though, is strike range is something that was very, very important for the brain on Maven, because we were able to get to the last phase, but we burned portals, not because of Maven damage, but because of the degens in the middle. We would place the Maven degens in the middle of the arena, and then the brain, because we had to hit the brain in between the phases, we weren't able to hit it because we were standing degens. What I learned from that is if you get a couple more levels, you can get the proper strike range. This does not. This is level 88. If you get to like 92, then you can get the strike range. You could use like a behead support or something like that. The problem is that you're trading strike range for damage that you should have anyway. So, you know, bit of a trade-off there. And personally, I don't think it's worth it. So in order to do that fight for the Maven, I think the play is just to get more strike range on the tree, give up some other, you know, like health, honestly, maybe even some damage, that's totally fine, and then just get some better rares, because our gear was so cheap. As in get a better belt, you can get a budget belt with much more life, like a Stygian Vise. Or a better amulet. The amulet, though, was pretty good. Master meant to serve this well, but the strength alone, I don't think was enough to carry it. If you were able to get something, you know, with life and strength, I think that would be a lot better. But that would be something down the line. So basically what I'm saying is that get strike range on the tree, Maven's fine. Uber Elder. So Uber Elder wasn't fine either. Not so much of a strike range problem, but more of a damage problem. Because you needed, on this case, you need additional strikes. So in your gloves, if you want to get additional strikes, do so. Even something like Melee Splash might help a lot as well. Just because the ad phase that the degens build up really quickly, it's important to take those out, and that's where you really, really need that. Because investing that on your gear and then having your gem setup be single target is most potent. So yeah, that's what I would do for those 2. So what did we learn? Learned a lot doing this project. I've done some things like this in the past, where I've just tried to like take a build and you know, spend as little as I can, make it successful. And so what I think is the core concepts to understand is, 1, Juggernaut's in a lot better place due to the rework and everything, so that's something to keep in mind for future builds. In terms of the regeneration and the little mini transcendence effect, that's really, really good. I think in terms of damage, BoneShatter is, you know, definitely performing very well. I would say just if possible, it's one of those things where I think for those final 2 endgame bosses, you would need more gear. If you're an experienced player, you can do them, but I think just the tree alone is a little too uncomfortable. If you spend more, like a Divine, now that's kind of weird from last videos, it's been Exalts, now it's Divines. If you spend some Divines on your gear, such as like a belt, like a Divine or 2 on your belt, maybe a Divine on a ring or something like that, etc., you'll find yourself in a much better spot along with some levels. If you can get some better jewels, go for it, but to be honest, the build isn't too jewel heavy, so it kind of is what it is. It's definitely a great budget setup for sure, as the gear is pretty easy to acquire, and then you can continuously upgrade it, which is fantastic. So I definitely look into that. So yeah, that's kind of the update. What I'd say is look out for Juggernaut in the next couple weeks or so, just see if anything else comes up. But in terms of next league, definitely have it on your radar. Pretty strong ascendancy, I think, and although it doesn't really bring much to the damage table, besides like undeniable, the tankiness is definitely very, very good, which I'm pleased about. And I think as long as you have some core concepts and principles of how to build a character, etc., just get some cheap damage going, it can set you up for stronger variations of this build in the future, or just whatever other build you want to play. So anyway, shorter one than usual, but thanks for watching. I'll post the final POB in the description. But yeah, that's about it. This was just some T16 mapping footage of me just trying it out. So yeah, hope you all enjoyed the series. And yeah, I'll make some more content eventually at some point. We'll figure that out. Peace.